What's good, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. Today we have my official 2024 NBA free agency predictions. I think there are about 13, maybe 14 players on this list. And yeah, we're just going to be predicting where they end up in free agency. Make sure to like and subscribe, go to the description and submit your video ideas, and let's get right into it. So the first guy I have is going to be an interesting one. I'm going to say right now, I think there's like 2 or 3 where I have the guys staying on their teams. This one, though, I don't have. Obviously, the Golden State Warriors don't have cap space at this moment, so they can't sign DeMar DeRozan out of free agency. So we're going to see a sign and trade here. I imagine it looks something like Andrew Wiggins, obviously, he's going to be the main guy in that deal. And then maybe Moses Moody, maybe throwing a pick as well, even though that's kind of rich. I don't know if you have to throw in a pick for that because of DeMar DeRozan's age. But maybe they do have to throw in a pick, or at least a protected pick, something like that. They're not throwing Bojemski, obviously. They're not going to throw Trace Jackson Davis. Maybe you can get, getting Kuminga instead of Moody is like an obvious deal right away from the Bulls. I doubt they get Kuminga from that deal, but you're going to get Moody. You're probably going to get some type of protected pick, and you're gonna get Andrew Wiggins for if you're the Chicago Bulls. Really, you just want to get off of DeRozan's contract with getting some young pieces in return. Obviously, Wiggins not really that anymore, but you're going to have to eat that contract. You're rebuilding now. You can move Wiggins maybe at the trade deadline if he balls in the first half of the season, but if not, you just eat the contract. It's okay. You're not signing any big names in free agency. Just have to live like that. So I'm gonna have DeMar DeRozan going to the Golden State Warriors. That's gonna be my first one. The next one you guys saw already, but it's going to be actually I don't think you guys saw this one already. Maybe you did. It's LeBron James, the Los Angeles Lakers. This is obvious. I think he's gonna get either a 2-year $100 million deal or a 3-year $150 million deal. With them having JJ Redick as their head coach and them drafting Bronny, it's obvious that they will be retaining LeBron James, or LeBron James will pick the Lakers to come back to. Imagine if they really got Bronny for LeBron just to not come back. That looked very bad on their part. My next is going to be Paul George. Now, can Paul George sign to the 76ers? Yes. Can he get a sign and trade to the Warriors? I'm going to say yes as well. In this, though, I'm going to have Paul George return to the Clippers, which means the Warriors failed to get a sign and trade done, so they went to their second option, DeMar DeRozan, instead. I think Paul George can use the 76ers as leverage for this Clippers contract. The Clippers reportedly aren't really wanting to give him a full max. The 76ers, I'm betting, would give him a full max. So if he uses the 76ers as leverage, the Clippers kind of have to match that. You can't lose Paul George for nothing, especially because that team is not going anywhere right now. You're still trying to compete with Kawhi Leonard, and I'm assuming you're going to bring back James Harden as well. We'll see what happens to Russell Westbrook, but you can't go into rebuild right now. If you lose Paul George for nothing, that look terrible on yourselves. So I think the Clippers will end up buying in, give Paul George the max contract, and I don't know if it's going to look like a great contract in a couple of years, but he's going to get it. Next up, we have Tyrese Maxey. This is obviously an easy one. I'm going to have him returning to the 76ers. Sixers will pay him anything he wants, or the Sixers are going to pay him anything he wants. Yeah, it's an easy one. He deserves the max. He balled out in last year's playoffs, and he's going to be a really nice piece next to Embiid for the foreseeable future. Next, like I said earlier, we're going to start with some of the obvious ones quickly. I'm going to have James Harden return to the Clippers. Same thing with the Paul George thing. If the Clippers really don't bring back James Harden, that'd be the stupidest thing they can do because they can't bring any more big contract guys in. I guess if you want to try at LeBron, you're not getting LeBron. The next best guy is going to be Paul George because you're not getting Tyrese Maxey. I guess you could try for a DeMar DeRozan, maybe a Klay Thompson, but at that point, what's the point of losing Paul George if you're going to get a DeMar DeRozan back? It makes no sense. So they're going to have to bring their guys back and they'll have to try to rerun what they had. They had a really good start to 2024 and then kind of just went downhill. So hopefully they can build off of that. Hopefully these guys have one last push in them to get a championship. Next, I have Tobias Harris. I'm going to have him go to the Detroit Pistons. So I was thinking whether or not the Pistons would prefer a Tobias Harris or Miles Bridges. And just because of the shooting, Bridges was a fine shooter last year. Tobias Harris was known as a good shooter. Last year in the playoffs, definitely not so much. But I'm going to have him go to the Detroit Pistons. Hopefully he gets that percentage back up. And the Pistons have, I think about, $45 million in cap space. After taking on Tim Hardaway Jr., it's definitely a little bit less. Getting Tobias Harris as a catch and shoot guy. And I think Cade Cunningham would like that a lot because he is trying to win. My next guy is going to be Klay Thompson. I'm going to have him go to the Orlando Magic. Now, this one's kind of just, I'm not going to say a hope, but just want to see some things switch up here. So, Klay Thompson to the Orlando Magic. The Magic have money to give out, and they need shooting. They didn't draft shooting in the first round, at least this year. They drafted Tristan Da Silva at 18. Didn't 100% agree with that pick, but, I guess it's fine. Murphy was available. They didn't want to take him. Even Isaiah Collier, I'm not going to say he's a better shooter than Da Silva, but Isaiah Collier was available. There are also a couple of other guys I would rather over Tristan Silva for the Magic specifically, maybe a Keyshawn George, but they didn't take it. So they're gonna look at Klay Thompson for some shooting right away, and I think he'll be a great starter for them. Last year you started Gary Harris in the playoffs. You could definitely upgrade over that in a lineup of Suggs, Klay Thompson, Franz Wagner, Banchero, and Wendell Carter for Jr. next year. It's gonna be a playoff team. My next team is going to be the Hornets signing KCP. I think this is definitely one where it's kind of going to be, just a little bit of a shout out because I don't think I've heard any connection with the Hornets and Contavious Caldwell Pope, but the Hornets have money, especially after losing Miles Bridges. They're going to have some money to give out. I think KCP is going to be a perfect guy for them. Slide right next to LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller. Power forward, are they going to start a Grant Williams or are they going to start Tijon Salon? I'm going to guess Grant Williams unless Tijon Salon absolutely balls out during training camp. So you have a lineup of LaMelo Ball, KCP, Brandon Miller, Grant Williams, and Mark Williams. And if Tijon Salon is going to cook up in training camp, maybe you could throw him in the starting lineup as well. But this team needs 3-and-D help, and Contavious Caldwell Pope is one of the best in the league at that. Next up, we have Jonas Valanciunas. I'm going to have him signed to the Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers were saying they were targeting a big man to put next to AD in the front court next season. And I think Jonas Valanciunas definitely fits that bill. You could also look at maybe an Andre Drummond. Maybe they can sign them both. Drummond can play backup. I like Drummond to the Lakers. I think that's something that could happen. Jonas Valanciunas, though, I don't know if he's going to get a big deal from any of the main teams that need center right now. The Grizzlies would have to be a signing trade because they're not going to be able to take on a Jonas Valanciunas contract right now. The Lakers, I guess even then they might have to orchestrate a signing trade. Other than that, though, the Thunder, I was thinking about the Thunder. I actually had the Thunder on here before I put the Lakers. The Thunder could work, but I think that they definitely value a younger Isaiah Hartenstein for sure. So I'm going to have Jonas Valanciunas, the Lakers, play next to 80 next season. The Lakers probably have a lineup with something like LeBron. LeBron at the one would be interesting. I guess LeBron would play the three. So yeah, we'll probably see something like, actually no, because you have Cam Johnson right now. So LeBron might play the one next year. Austin Reeves at the 2, Cam Johnson at the 3. You could see 80 at the 4, Giannis at the 5. That's better than what they had last year, at least. Yeah, the Lakers, I don't think will win another championship, but this is gonna help. Next, we have Miles Bridges, and this is definitely a questionable one for me. I don't know what team would be willing to pay Miles Bridges right now. The Pistons could be one, but like I said earlier, I think they'd rather a shorter term contract with Tobias Harris than a longer one with Miles Bridges. And Tobias Harris, I also think, is a better shooter, so there goes that for them. So maybe Miles Bridges can go and replace Tobias Harris in Philly. Would it be for a bigger contract? Yes, but the salary cap is also going up as well, so it wouldn't be too big of a deal. I don't know about this one though. I could also see him possibly going to the Utah Jazz, but I want to see the Jazz stick with their young core right now. Taylor Hendricks, Lauri Markkanen, and Walker Kessler. I'd like to see them start Taylor Hendricks next year. I thought he had a great rookie season, or a solid rookie season. And I don't think they should bring in a guy like Miles Bridges or Tobias Harris. So I'm gonna have Miles Bridges go to the Sixers to replace a Tobias Harris, but this is the one I'm definitely a little bit iffy about. Another one I'm iffy about is D'Angelo Russell to the Brooklyn Nets. I think this would definitely be a sign and trade. D'Angelo Russell would go to the Nets and probably one of the 2020 would be like a 2029 pick. What's the first round pick they have? It's something like that. Maybe they have more at this point. But D'Angelo Russell, probably that pick and some type of protection for Cam Johnson, probably Dennis Schroeder as well. Lakers, they need point guard help. I guess it kind of leaked that last one the Jonas Valanciunas deal, but whatever. Yeah, they're gonna get Cam Johnson, they're gonna get Dennis Schroeder, and yeah, they're gonna get it for D'Angelo Russell. Probably a first round pick. It's going to be protected though, and I think this is a good deal for the Nets. Get their point guard going to next season next to Cam Thomas, and for the Lakers, they get more shooting. They get off of D'Angelo Russell, and they get a nice backup point guard there in Dennis Schroeder. Maybe Dennis Schroeder even starts. Who knows? Next, we have Russ. We're going to have him go to the Phoenix Suns. This is definitely interesting. The reports have been said that Russell Westbrook is not interested in re-signing to the Clippers, and I think if he doesn't, he can go to a team like the Suns. Matt Ishbia could go ahead and give Russ the mid-level exception. That could possibly happen. And if it does, he definitely pick it up because he's not going to get something like that. Reunite with Kevin Durant, that's pretty cool, and Bradley Beal for that fact. And will he start at the one next year? If he does, that'd be pretty crazy. A Russ, Booker, Beal, KD starting lineup along with Yusuf Nurkic. Maybe that works. Maybe it doesn't. I'm not sure. But I'm gonna have him go to the Phoenix Suns. Matt Ishbia is definitely someone who could like Russell Westbrook and get very excited. Next up, we have Chris Paul. Welcome to the Los Angeles Lakers. You finally end up getting to the Lakers after, what was it? What year was it when he got traded to the Clippers? Was that like 2012? I think it was, maybe 2013. No, I think it was, I'm not sure. But when he got traded to the Clippers, Obviously, the first deal got vetoed and him going to the Lakers. I think he just signed a minimum deal. Obviously, he's not going to get more than that. I already have them getting Dennis Schroeder, but if LeBron does end up starting at point guard, maybe he doesn't end up starting at point guard. Maybe you do play Dennis Schroeder, but Chris Paul is just some nice bench depth. Don't know if he'll play at all for them. Maybe he does. Chris Paul, Dennis Schroeder on the same court at the same time doesn't seem too bad. But again, I don't really know. Also, Chris Paul, he's not the greatest basketball player anymore, so maybe he doesn't even deserve rotational minutes. And I forgot to mention, there's also one more part to this. Chris Paul is Bronny James's godfather, so that works out perfectly. And JJ Redick's old teammate on the Clippers. So this could very well happen. I mean, it would make a lot of sense now that we're making more connections, but who knows? And last but not least, the last guy I have on this list is going to be Isaiah Hartenstein to the OKC Thunder. The Thunder are going to look for a center in some sort this offseason, whether it's Brook Lopez, Mitchell Robinson, they could look at if the Knicks would want to bring back Hartenstein. So yeah, Brook Lopez, Hartenstein, Mitchell Robinson, Jonas Valanciunas. They're looking for a big man badly. Maybe even if they can get Jalen Duren, that'd be crazy. That'd have to be with Isaiah Hartenstein going over to the Pistons, or maybe even a Mark Williams if Isaiah Hartenstein wants to go to the Hornets, because Mark Williams has been very banged up in the first couple years of his career. So the Thunder are looking for a big man. I'm gonna have them land Isaiah Hartenstein, and it kind of just works out for them. They can run a lineup out next year with Shea at the 1, Caruso at the 2, J-Dub at the 3, Chet at the 4, and Hartenstein at the 5. Last year, Chet really struggled with guys like Daniel Gafford, he's bigger than him, in terms of strength, obviously, not height, but he's bigger than him. He blocks shots, and they need another bigger guy in there. Chet's not going to put on the pounds he needs, and sometimes you just can't put on the pounds. Some people are like that. Maybe that's Chet. So we're going to get a bigger body in there in Isaiah Hartenstein to get them their center. Maybe the Thunder can make a championship run next season. So that's going to be it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe. Go into the description and submit your video ideas. And yeah, see you guys next time. Peace.